All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Happy Monday to everyone. Happy Monday. And welcome to Rumbi and Senza. It's a beautiful day. All right, come through, guys. We need to have a very serious conversation. Breaking news. Susan P fights back against Mnangagwa's 2030 plan, which is the 2030 mantra. You've had people singing day and night. One vets prefers Chiwenga against Muchangwa. Quite interesting. I didn't know that Muchangwa had ambitions to be the president, apparently. So that really makes sense because I remember earlier this year, people saying that Muchangwa is fighting with Chiwenga, for vying for the vice presidency. That was last year, this year, yeah. So now, yeah, the truth is out of the bag now. There's fights in the camp, really huge fights. And I also heard that Ziyambi is fighting with Mtongo, but I'm going to look at that story separately. This morning, we are going to be looking at Zanpio fights back. So before we proceed, I don't know if you were awake last night, you actually saw, a video circulating. And I said, Wicknell Chivayo is definitely President Emmerson Mnangagwa was down for. Sometimes, you don't know how God works. God works in mysterious ways. I think it's that time where it's like it's over. It's over and the time is now. So welcome everybody. Welcome to Rumbi and Senza. Good to see you, man. Miriam, good to see you. Alfred, good to see you guys. What's happening? Are you guys doing well? Man. So Nick Wicknell Chivayo is definitely right now on record. On record. Do you remember last week there was a letter that circulated where allegations suggested that Mike Chimombe and one of his friends were suing Wicknell Chivayo. Now Wicknell Chivayo responded to them, finally broke his silence against the very same allegations, and then began to say a lot of really very, very gruesome stuff. I can only imagine. Guys, it's one thing when an individual, or maybe a councillor or member of parliament or a minister is being robbed into corruption, but it's another thing when the president of a country is also being dragged into the same mess. Don't forget the gold mafia. You remember that? Now we are back again. President Emmerson Mnangagwa is being robbed in by Wicknell Chivayo. I want you guys to take a listen to what he said. Very, very serious allegations right there. Like I said to you before, it's one thing for a minister or any other person, get involved in corruption. But when he is the president of a country, it's another thing. The president, I said president of the country. I'm referring to President Emmerson Mnangagwa. Please take a listen to Wicknell Chivayo speaking. Wow. Very serious allegations. Then take a listen, please. Very serious allegations, y'all. Take a listen, please.
Good morning, members. Makumaita meeting but for my expectations are queer. Mpofu that 2 million years, 3 million. They don't see Madila. More 1,000 years. It keeps you going. How many times have I got payments? Where my payments are, this is the third one. Next week I'm getting another one, which is 5.2 million. Then what we stand a man with Zuma projects and the police, but the immigration, but the Jagawan. As I swear, when I'm smoke collector, who's got a pension? There's no need to be greedy or to try and aim high and try. What I said is bring new work. Should actually matter what is G. What is G? I end up meeting the national airport, but I'm not going to go my son. Depending on the door and leg. But a farmer made cut and then about for a good shower. So we are each. So that's about door. I bet the Muslim, I bet the Muslim of APR 2 courses over. I'll phone you when I get to Italy. Goodbye, my son. I shit that the I am motor. Goodbye, my son. I'll call you when I get to Italy, Madam West one. So I didn't cut some good take advantage of that. Don't try and eat in what I have done myself or what caused us problems in the past. How can you cry about my school fees? There's one thing I watch 2.2 million dollars to make video. 2.2 million, but you cry about school fees. Saga, who's somewhere? But I accept a big. Let's get whatever is there so that you keep going. Well, what's difficult for us business people are running costs. When I was at 2,000, small is at the 4,000. But then is last for one, but use a longer 5,000 matter. Oh, my woman is going to pay the way. I'm not going to fight away. Moscow is the way 10, the way 20 is nothing. You, but it keeps you going. That's what I thought. Okay, fine. let me reconnect to these guys because both of you have high potential. And more, second, material to funny man. It's out. Let's try to do what just have supply back. Come on, right? But we do supply, and do supply back. We are winning contract here. Advance payment. This is advance payment. I was too fast. I need a team like that. Yes, I've got my own projects. You know what projects I want to do myself. I want this, but I need a team like you which will share ideas. If you don't go one angle, what do you think that makes sense? If you are Chanaka Chakwich, you go away. And the Changu later, but people don't move. No, I'm not. And those who play with drink up, I know, okay, so 50,000 years ago, I know 100,000. I don't know what's the word you know. So, one day I say, okay, she gave me the next week, and then next week, oh, the other feature, boys, I'm waiting that we are now. What are you about Chiwenga? Why can't you wait? Let me live the way you take my shoe. I have to wear on very well and I make one of our cars. Tell them what some won't pay us in my name, and I never want to. These people are, you know, I do not want to walk away from them once more my 10 million years ago. And look at me and understand level as here. Formulation time, I'm 10 times higher than I was then, if not 20. So I want to see any of them. That's a level. That's a great step by step would be. So you have to give it time, be patient. Look at me 3 months as we get closer. That I'm it's okay. And that's Chiwenga to the bus. Minister that, Minister that, so I don't know. And I'm going to good morning. It's food for thought. And no one to took have a good day.
All right, so you heard Chivhayo speaking to Chimombe and the friend. Wow, I think Chivhayo, very soon you'll see Mr. Mnangagwa dropping him because this guy does not have they don't know how to keep a secret. I think it's one of the persons, Chivhayo is one of those. I don't think it's wise for President Emmerson Mnangagwa to keep him around the way that he does and work him too closely. No, he's a danger to his position. Sometimes you talk of authoritarian, but this is beyond authoritarianism. This is becoming you know what? It's actually very much of an embarrassment, more than it can be anything. Imagine as a president is not being treated like someone who's on the street, because of the people that he surrounds himself with. So I'm sensing an issue of jealousy here because who leaked the video? Definitely the people that received it. So when I make Chimombe leak a video. But this is what I'm going to say to my brothers, Mike Chimombe. I'm also looking at Chivayo. Hey, they're coming for you. They're coming for you. Yo, you're going to be in prison. People are coming for you. This war lead is going to come off very soon, yo. And you have to be answerable to all the wrongs that you're doing in the country. This is quite sad. And now evidence is out. Quite, yeah. I feel sad, Shem. But that's why, as a president, you need to decipher the kind of people that you need to be around. Not everyone should have access to a president of a nation, especially an ex-convict, like a criminal. We were talking of Chivhayo. This is quite very sad. Now, Deputy Courtati responded to that, to those allegations and say exceptionally serious allegations have been made against Mr. Chivhayo in this post. This cannot be just ignored, and the nation expects ZAC Online and the police to investigate these allegations urgently and thoroughly. Anything less by these institutions will reflect exceptionally badly on the entire Zimbabwean government, both domestically and internationally. Given that Mr. Chivhayo has recently been seen meeting with the Kenyan, Ugandan, and Tanzanian presidents, presumably a meeting facilitated by the Zimbabwean government, that then taints those leaders with the scandalous allegations made in this article. No statesman or woman would want to be associated in any way with a person guilty of the crimes alleged in this article. For that reason alone, the government should immediately investigate these allegations and, in addition, cease all formal conduct with Mr. Chivhayo pending the outcome of those investigations. Anything less will implicate the government both domestically and internationally in a major scandal. The inference to be drawn both at home and abroad will be that Mr. Chivhayo is in fact protected, and ironically that there may be substance to what is being alleged in this article. Wow, which is quite interesting that Deb's quoted is actually request that the police has to investigate Mr. Chivhayo. But you must not forget that there's been a lot of scandals in Zimbabwe that no one investigated. Let's talk about the $15 Marange diamond, 15 billion Marange diamond. We saw Zach last time said, we don't know where the money is. 15 billion US dollars disappeared. Every year we are losing 1.8 billion, through financial illicit flows. Again, there's still no answers to those monies. So you think that they're going to investigate Mr. Chivhayo? If they have to investigate Chivhayo, then they must investigate a lot of crimes that has been, committed in the country. Also, don't forget, Wicknell Chivayo is talking as if he's very close to the commander in chief. The commander in chief is the president, Emmerson Mnangagwa. So if President Emmerson Mnangagwa is there any police that can be able to arrest him or investigate him, considering that he's pulling the shots? Also, Wicknell Chivayo again, with all that he's been doing right now, he's not just doing it, he's being given the assignment, right? He also mentioned that, no, when he was almost getting to the plane, he was like, oh, I'm going to call you my son when I get to Italy, right? That sounds like people were very close to each other. So Wicknell is not just doing things. Definitely is getting some authority from wherever he's getting the authority from, but he sounds like someone who's very much comfortable in all the wrongdoings that he has been a part of for the past years. I mean, Gwanda solar panels still stuck, a lot of inconsistencies. He goes to the ZEC, they're alleging that there's a ZEC deal. I feel like Wicknell Chivayo is simply using people to do his dirty work. Because last time we heard about the ZEC tender that he took the money to himself, we also hearing now that some of the cars that people were given in Zimbabwe, those cars are not even paid for. And these guys want the money for the cars, which means, the people that were saying, oh my God, I was told to go and see Victor, they may come to take their cars. Yeah, it's an interesting nation indeed. Very interesting. Now, Gerard, because some of the ZANU-PF supporters were saying, that is AI. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Do you think that is AI speaking? Because that sounds like exactly Wicknell Chivayo. I don't feel like there's anything doctored there. Do you think that is AI? What for? For the what? Okay, so if it is AI, I'm waiting to hear from Wicknell Chivayo. I know we issued a statement that is not him. I'm also waiting to hear from Mpofu and Chimombe because they're also being implicated because they're the ones that had a letter circulated to say that wasn't them. So we're waiting to hear. Without that, then we just think that, of course, it's them at work. It's them definitely at work. So the issue of Victor, for those that is called cars, good luck with you, because some of those cars are not paid for. Now the truth is out of the bag. We're also shocked as a country. Who was paying these cars? Now I'm calling up my brother, Akurata Gwire, on record, saying, no, you don't have to ask Wicknell Chivayo who is getting those cars. So you've got a lot to say, right? A lot to say. The people says, that's a multi-billionaire man. Really? He's got a lot to say, especially to the church that they're busy deceiving today. Very interesting. So moving on, we are having Kasukwire, who made it very clear to ED that you will not cross the 2030. In fact, the people are saying 2025 is too far for President Emmerson Mnangagwa to still be in power. These are allegations just being dropped on social media. Kasukwire saying, no way, it's not going to happen. I also saw a message that was sent out by Walter Muzembe. Let me just read that for you. He said, doesn't bother me. Our expulsion from ZANU-PF was unilateral and illegal. Only ZANU-PF can correct its illegalities the same way it corrected the illegality of E.D. Mnangagwa's expulsion in 2017. Did you write a letter of apology to anyone or readmission? Illegal sanctions, they call them, should be universally condemned. Right. So you're saying, why are we supposed to write letters? But I remember last time they confirmed that they wrote letters. They also went to see ANC. ANC sent the delegates to Zimbabwe to speak to President Emmerson Mnangagwa on their behalf if they could be readmitted to ZANU-PF, which did not go well. So now he says, why are we supposed to write letters? What about Mnangagwa when he came back? What did he do? He just came back and took over power. So I don't know why these messages are now coming up and, so this 2030 plot draws fierce ZANU-PF resistance. And so as nemesis Kasukwire and us fray. All right, so Kasukwire is saying, no way, it is not going to have the 2030 that you want. Forget about Kasukere thing. I mean, Zimbabweans across the board, why would we allow someone to break the law? We have a constitution that they need to abide by, especially the president used to be the one that needs to respect that constitution more than anyone else. But unfortunately, he does whatever he wants to do anytime. And I'm asking question, is this something that makes the president different from any other human being in the country? I understand that any president, like any other president we've seen across the board, gets elected to be in the place, or whatever happened in 2017, which we supported, all of us. And then he found himself, having that position. We saw a disputed election 2018. We also saw something that happened last year. Again, the election did not meet the criteria of a free and fair election. And he's still there in the position. My question I'm going to ask to every Zimbabwean across the board, young and old, is what makes the President Emmerson Mnangagwa different from any other person, apart from him being the president of the country? Is this someone not a human being? Is he... I don't get it. Why is it rules has to be changed because it's him? What are you guys afraid of in terms of the rules? If he pledged that he was going to honor the constitution of Zimbabwe, so what changes now? What is it? What changes now? We should all ask ourselves questions before we start blaming people and say, is it us we have the problem, or we think he has got the problem, or we, the Zimbabwean people, we do have the problem? We don't know how to stand to the principle that no, we have our principles in place, and then we must adhere to them, because anyone can just come from the back door and do as they please. They say, oh, but we saw someone doing it. I mean, you can see, Walter Muzemba again said the same thing, he was expelled from ZANU-PF and still came back and took over power. Again, it's like we have set an example of you can just come, and do whatever you want. There are no laws that you have to abide by. There are no rules. You can't be stopped by anybody. So at the end of the day, do we blame the people or blame ourselves? Maybe it's time we blame ourselves. And then Dr. Walter Mzembe went on to say, it's time we started having a national conversation about succession, the future of our country. I want you to listen to this very carefully, because there's something very important here. He said, no guns this time. Hear me out. He said, no guns this time, no violence. Politics must lead the gun. 2017 was tragic. We allowed the gun to lead politics. Instead, we should be agitating for unity inside ZANU-PF. I want you to quote that, inside ZANU-PF, because I'm going to come back to that statement. Very important statement. I'm going to underline this. There is a reason why I'm underlining it. Okay. He said, agitating for unity inside ZANU-PF. Make sure you put that on record. Other parties not outfoxing each other through perennial self-serving restructuring, recalls, annihilation of dissenting voices. ED is in his last term, and that is constitutional, right? Even though there's an illegitimacy hanging, but we, on paper, President Emmerson Mnangagwa, he's the president. So constitutionally, he said the best president he can give ZANU-PF. Remember, we're talking about ZANU-PF here. We're not talking about Zimbabwe. There's ZANU-PF that keeps on popping up, which I want to follow. ZANU-PF, the people and the... Hold on. Okay. I'm going to be back. I'm curious. So he says, 2017 was tragic. We allowed the gun to lead politics. Instead, we should be agitating for unity inside ZANU-PF. Okay, and other parties not outfoxing each other through perennial self-serving, restructuring, recalls, annihilating dissenting voices. We talk about the opposition party. He also said ED is in his last term, and that is constitutional. The best present he can give ZANU-PF and the people of Zimbabwe is to unite the party, and by extension, the country. The 23rd is on Madzimudzangara Ajibudi, right? There's something very interesting here, where it's ZANU-PF being at the face front. I thought maybe it's going to be Zimbabwe at the forefront, but there's ZANU-PF at the forefront. It's time to move towards restorative politics, far away from retributive politics. The last few days have convinced those with the interests of the country at heart that the president is merely a man of flesh and blood and is getting on Akura. No sane person can miss the cognitive decay, which we saw in Mugabe at 92, visibly, apparently, in Mnangagwa at 82. No amount of airport rallies, Mugabe style, can improve a leader's faculties and mediocrity. My message is directed to my brethren in and outside ZANU-PF, in and outside the country, who believe like me that change will start from the inside ZANU-PF itself before it assumes national proportions. Okay, that underline. We'll start from inside ZANU-PF itself before it assumes national proportions, that we must not walk the road of other withering liberation movements because we failed to renew ourselves. We failed to push meritocracy and modernize ZANU-PF. Zvekuswera muchiti pasina nhengi izvi, it's retrogressive. Tiri kudzokera kumashure. Nyika inovakwa nemunhu wese, the best brains and minds being allowed to lead, kwete kuvenga njere. Okay, that's Dr. Walter Muzembe. What excites me here when I was reading this message, that's why I actually pulled it out, it was the ZANU-PF being on the forefront. I mean, if for some reason I've heard people saying, if there can be change in Zimbabwe, it must start with ZANU-PF. There must be, fights within the ranks, and that will spill to the people of Zimbabwe, and then actions can be turned and things can change from there, which I find it very weird when I listen to that. I find it really, really weird. You know why I find it weird? It's because it seems like ZANU-PF seems to put it on a pedestal, like they are so special more than Zimbabweans. Oh, like they're the ones who fought the struggle. Hold on. Our parents fought during the time of the struggle. The issue of, don't confuse individuals aspiring to be in leadership and us choosing which political party or whichever leader do we think can have the qualities to lead the country, right? I see a lot of self-appraisal, a lot of intimidation, even though through words. And when I'm saying this, and I mean it, self-appraisal, or they are better than any other Zimbabwean. There's something about ZANU-PF that I don't get. Why do they think that they are better than Zimbabweans? What is it about them that think they may be looked at like, they own the struggle? When we consider that almost everyone during the time of Smith fought for the struggle, for unity in the country and for peace, for better roads, better economy, for inclusive in terms of the of prosperity. So what is it that makes ZANU-PF different? Maybe that's a question that we need to ask each other. What makes them think they are better than everyone else in the country? That frightens me a lot. And I'm a firm believer that the moment you think you're better than other people, you're a dangerous person. Real leaders understand humility. Real leaders understand that we are all one people, that no one is better. Real leaders understand, because there's so much humility in them. They know how to prefer others first. That's what makes them leaders. Leaders is that I am because you are. Not you are because I am. No, because we're not, right? Yeah. It's time for Zimbabweans to really start telling each other the truth. There's something that is so wrong that comes from ZANU-PF that I do not like. A sense of entitlement. A sense of superiority when they're just nothing. Because looting stuff in the country does not make you a better person, right? Most of you have got farms that you're not even using. It doesn't make you better people in the country. Some of you have got monies that you stash in foreign lands that you have looted in the country from our minerals. It does not make you better people. I've seen you, we had Wicknell Chivayo here on record say that, you have bought a watch for 2.something million rand. You heard him saying that. I'm not surprised. I've told you last time that you spoke to someone that I know very closely and send a message that, no, you can go to Sandon's in that jewelry shop, buy anything that you want or come and pay. But I know it was all a political game. But what I'm saying is that it doesn't make you better than any other Zimbabwean person because you have got the power to steal from us. It does not make you better at all. That must be known, I want Zimbabweans to treat you the way you're supposed to be treated. You are simply human beings like everyone else. So don't put yourself on a pedestal because you're not. And nobody really cares about you. It's a pity that some of us, we grew up in countries where everyone is the same. People are rich and filthy rich, but nobody cares. They do their things and they do their things. So in Zimbabwe, where you manufacture poverty so you can manipulate people, stop that. Nobody really cares. Get off your high horse and begin to do the right thing by treating everyone the same. You are not special than any other Zimbabwean. Every Zimbabwean is special and we are all important. I want this to end. Honestly, I want superiority to end in the country. It has to stop by all means. Every Zimbabwean is special, must be respected. Okay, I hope you heard me. Fathers, brothers, and sisters, you are not special than anyone else. You have kept our people at ransom for decades in poverty because you want to think you're superior. Nothing superior about you. Humble yourself. Get off your high horses and do the right thing for the sake of generations to come that are hanging on a thread because you've messed up their destiny. You need to be ashamed of yourself because of the poverty you created. Shame on you, majority of you. All right, so moving on. We're going to move on to Mohadi. Okay. So Mohadi is not well. That is the VP Mohadi is really not well. However, I saw him yesterday again at the airport. Welcome, President Emmerson Mnangagwa. When I'm asking myself, I'm like, guys, I've seen a lot of comments on social media that why can't he rest? And I think in the new constitution that we are going to draw Zimbabweans, we have learned it the hard way. When we are out of all this darkness, this dark cloud that we are in currently, we must be very clear and say there is a year. We must have a year that we cut off people. We cut off people, you know what I mean? We cut off people who think that they can keep on being in power for long and long and long unnecessarily. I can see Americans are fighting with burden as well. They're fighting with burden, you know what I mean? And I do not know why we can't do the same thing and say enough of this, right? I don't understand why Mohadi can't just rest, you know? I don't understand why he can't rest. Please bear with me. That's my son right there. You know, I don't know why he can't rest because honestly, what is the point? You know, what is the point of carrying on and do what is happening now? So we're gonna listen to Mohadi speaking. You know, he's not well. You're gonna hear him out speaking. He's definitely not well. You will hear him speaking. Take a listen, please.
Independence wasn't the only hardware. Zimbabwe is a vibrant rainbow of cultures, languages, ethnicities, Shona, Ndebele, Kalama, and many other, each with their own traditions and way of life. The fight for liberation, the Chiwenga, brought these diverse groups together under a common goal, which is freedom. Comrades, similar to the OAU's approach, the Chiwenga embraced this rich diversity. Sanu and Zapu, while united against the embraced this rich diversity. Sanu and Zapu, while united against the Rhodesian regime, represented different ethnic and cultural learnings.
I apologize.
Yet they found common ground in the fight for Zimbabwe. The spirit of
Can you hear? You can't even talk. Mohadi can't speak. This is the second or third time when he's falling. Did you remember that it's not the first time Mohadi is falling? You know, while people are having meetings, it's not the first time. And he's doing exactly that. He's falling again, you know? And people are asking questions. Why can't you give other people an opportunity to actually do the work? There are a lot of people in ZANU-PF. Open the way, give young people an opportunity. Guys, go and rest. What is it about people like I don't get it with the Zimbabwean people. Honestly, I do not get it. I can only imagine when I'm old. I don't want to be in that position. I apologize, and I don't know why this man is keep on phoning. My son keeps on calling. I can't even believe it. Unfortunately, the phone I'm using, I broke my own phone, so I'm using someone else's phone. So please bear with me. That's why I keeps calling. If it's mine, he won't call because I block all this stuff. So, you know, I do not understand why Zimbabwean people do not understand. You need to go and rest. Guys, makatora mafamu, mukatora mari, mukatora chii mune dzimba. Go to the farm, muchodya mananga, nemapudzi, nemupora, muri kufamu. Playing with your grandchildren, signing out, winding down. Talk to your kids, tell them what they should do when you guys go to heaven. Because, I mean, all of us, we eventually going to go to heaven. You have done so much for the country. You must be proud of yourself for what you have done. We are grateful. Why are you putting yourself under such pressure? Is it unnecessary? You know, I don't get it. Honestly, for me, I don't get it. I'm like, guys, if it was me, I wouldn't mind to go and relax in the farm. Listen to the birds. You know what I'm saying? Waking up in the morning, having my coffee there. I mean, having peace, fresh air, fresh breeze. What is it about you? Moda kufira pazvigaro. Do you remember Mugabe said, "I will rule from the grave"? What is that? What is that? Like, guys, you've been in this government 4 decades. Why are you forcing yourself? Why are you putting yourself under pressure? I do not get it. I don't. So your head Mohadi he can't even speak. He's losing breath. He's forcing himself in the space, and I'm asking, sir, just go home and chill. Go home and chill. Leave this. Give other people an opportunity. This is why God allows safe generation after the other, because he knew there'll be a time when he says, I trust you, my child. Take over. I'm going to tell you how you should do stuff. What to do, what to avoid, how to live in fear, how to love each other, how to live in the fear of God, not in fear, in the fear of God, how to love each other, how to love other people, how to respect people in the society. You are just holding on to power, because every time, how my heart breaks when I talk about Mugabe, how my heart breaks when I'm like, okay, Mugabe's kids, if he had left this power around 2000, today there'll be great men in the country you can't even stand. But what are they doing is alcohol and women. You know why? Because he did not have time with his children. Guys, it's time we change this culture of holding on to something and understand that no, life is about legacy. Impacting lives, changing lives, being of a blessing to others who are in need. Help those that may need it. Be a mentor people. What do you see about buying a pain to be known with the legacy of hatred, legacy of evil? I was shocked with President Emmerson Mnangagwa when he was talking to Putin. Sorry, I've been pronouncing him very wrong and apologize on that. To Putin, I heard him saying that, he was talking about in Zimbabwe, when we have challenges, we sit around the table, have dialogue. And I'm sitting on the other end, I'm like, sir, we've had a lot of problems in the country. We never saw no dialogue. And I said, I'm going to deal with that one on its own, because there are reasons why. I'm tired of people who are lying when they go out there and they say something different when they're in the country. We see they mistreating their own people. But when they're out there, they are shining and they're telling the world, no, we are doing that. They come back, they deceive their own people. Yeah, listen, this has to stop. It really has to stop. It has to stop, because God won't allow it any longer. It has to stop. Okay, so yeah, this is one of the most heartbreaking stories. Again, boils down to our government. They're not doing their job. The government is not doing their job. And I mean it when I'm saying this. I'm going to read quite a heartbreaking statement that was sent out by the police. Suspect food poisoning at Matora Nere Primary School. I think you guys saw the article that is circulating and the reports. That the Zimbabwe Republic Police reports that investigations are underway in the connection with a case of suspected food poisoning, which occurred at Matora Nembe Primary School, Murombezi, on the 7th of June, 2024. So 8 kids allegedly started vomiting while complaining of stomach pains after they'd consumed rice and soup, which had been packed in the lunchbox. The pupils were ferried to Murombezi Rural Hospital for treatment. Investigations carried out by the police revealed that a fellow school pupil brought a lunchbox which contained home-prepared food. After having been given 2 lunchboxes by her parents, the parent gave instructions on how to share the food. Okay, when I was reading this, I said to myself, first and foremost, this level of wickedness should never be allowed in our society. If your child is being asked for food by other kids, point number 1, these kids are hungry, that's why they're asking. We know the situation in the country because of poverty and hunger. We all know that. If you don't want your child to share food with others, what do? Just pick the food that is good, that is only equal to herself, and then she can just eat for herself on your own. Tell your child not to give. But honestly, as a parent, these allegations are true, that you actually pack a container packed with poisoned food to get other kids. To me, that's the worst any human being can do. That is witchcraft. witchcraft, in my opinion. No normal person can do something like that. I mean, it's better to say, don't give. If people ask you, I know when we went to school when we were young, primary or secondary, we used to see people who could not give. I mean, and that's okay. You don't want to give, that's fine. I know stingy people. Trust me, I know them. I've been in many places where people can't even eat. Some people can't even open the fridge because maybe you're sitting there. They're just stingy people by nature. They can even, they can even starve themselves because you're just next to them. They can't eat. They're afraid. We have such kind of people around us, right? We know them in our society, in our families. It boils down to poverty. It's poverty mentality. Because successful people don't care about food. In fact, they grow from, let's share. We'll sit around the table and have a meal, as families. But to really poison other kids because you don't want to give them food is the highest level of evil that any mother or father can ever allow. I'm heartbroken to read this story, heartbroken to the core. And I'm like, God, how can I reach out to that place? How can we be of a blessing in those spaces? That's why I say, God, I wish you can make me a billionaire, so that I can just give where people where they need. Because what I'm seeing in the country, money is being thrown around. People buy 2.2 million watch from corruption money that could be feed the children. Now kids are being poisoned. We have looting, 1.8 billion, $15 billion disappeared in the country. Now all these kids that are being poisoned, the blood is in your hands. All the thieves in the government today, every evil that's going on in the city, the blood is in your hands. You need to understand that most of you are going to pay it heavily. There will be consequences. You're not just going to slide and you think you can get away with it. No, people are coming for you. In fact, you're going to be shocked with what's going to be happening soon. I'm going to tell you the truth. Anything is going to, you are sitting on a time bomb. Something is going to happen very soon. And people are going to hold to account for every wicked that you have done in that country. People are going to pay for it. You're not just going to escape and say, oh, it's over and I'm just going to get away with it. No, brothers, no sisters. You have to pay for your wrongs that you have done. You have to. These kids, you are being poisoned. Their lives are in your hands. It's heartbreaking. It's a heartbreaking story to read. It's going to make me very much emotional. I'm emotional already as a person. And when I read things like this, I can't even be worse. It's the worst. It's the worst that can ever happen. And I pray for that family, for that mother and father, if it's a husband and a wife, it's a wife, whatever the case may be, to say, fathers, mothers, my people, you can tell your child not to share, right? It's as simple as that. Or your child must take their food, maybe go to a place where she can eat, hiding, whatever the case may be, if these kids are a problem. But picking poisoned food to hate someone's child? No, I'm hurt. It's sad. And I know the police will do their job. Zimbabwean police are very good at doing their job, except when politicians interfere. Zimbabwean police are known for being really good at doing the work. Politicians are the problem in the country, and that has to be put to stop by all means. We must all come together and say enough is just enough. As a people of Zimbabwe, we deserve better, to have better leaders in the country. So yeah, ZANU-PF people are definitely fighting back against 2030 mantra. They don't want it. And I also saw that even sometimes when they are seeing some people just clapping their hands, say, please. It's like people are being coerced to push on Nigeria. That will never happen. If you have to coerce people to put you in a position, then they don't want you there. It is as simple as that. If they want you, you don't have to ask. If you're a good leader, people just say, carry on. Why not? I wouldn't mind to be under dictatorship like China. The country is thriving. Everything is working. Why would I bother? People don't care about politics at all. But when you are in a position like where we are now in the country, definitely we have to look at other options to have people who are really, really good at doing the job. Because I saw what happened in Russia. You've seen how people went abuzz on social media. It's not good for people to say so much negativity about a president of a country. To me, I find it very weird. The fights with Zambia, again, on its own, it doesn't represent the president well. And I hope President Emmerson Mnangagwa will do something about people that are saying things on social media, especially George Charamba and his Marakashi thing. Some of the stuff they are saying there really, really, says a lot about the president more than it can say a lot about them, because they are representing the office of the president. So honestly, I think you need to just look at their work and review it. Maybe look for someone who is good at representing the president well, because the way they are saying ugly things about on social media to other countries, it doesn't represent Zimbabweans as a war in a proper way. The light is very dark. It doesn't work for us as Zimbabwean people, honestly, in my opinion. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section. Also, look at Mr. Chivhayo and all this corruption thing. I feel pity for this young man. I really do feel pity, because I can only imagine him in prison, because that imprisonment is coming very soon. It's coming. I think they'll start with him, honestly, Yeah. So, guys, until next time, I love you all. May God bless you, and may God bless Zimbabwe. So, guys, I'll see you a little bit later on, because I'm coming back. We're going to talk about a lot of things going on in the country currently. I love you guys, and bye for now. Have a good one. I'll see you later on. Bye. I just want to call this our friends. It's good to see you. Bless you guys, and bye for now. Yeah.